You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Hey everyone, Jim Chester here. I am in Grand Junction, which is the Grand Valley of the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say no one lives. And we have William Perry. He is out there in Bakersfield, California, and California dude out there doing California things. But he went to Palmer College, played rugby there. And this episode today, Over That Shoulder, is sponsored by Palmer Rugby Football Club. And we're going to talk about Dr. Will for about 20 minutes, and he's going to jump right in and tell us how he got into Palmer, because one of my first questions for you is, when you were 5, did you raise your hand and say, I'm going to be a chiropractor?
No, I did not. At that time, I wanted to play in the NFL, so that's what I was going to do then. What got me into chiropractic was a football injury, so that actually football led me into my career path anyway. So got a really bad injury when I was 17, senior in high school. Had Division I scholarship opportunities pretty much taken away from me in one day. So that really changed the perspective of what I was doing and the way I looked at things. At the time, I didn't know I was going to play football ever again. So mom took me. We went to the medical route. Of course, muscle relaxers, pain pills, the whole 9 yards. Never helped anything. If anything, it maybe numbed the pain a little bit. But I had a really bad leg injury from nerves in my lower back that caused my left leg to go dead. And it started to atrophy pretty fast. And the doctors at that time weren't sure I was going to walk again, let alone play football. So thank God my mom finally took me to the chiropractor, Dr. Allen, in New Columbia, Pennsylvania. Small little town. My parents always went to him, but never thought to take me. Which looking back now is kind of shocking to me, but all things happen for a reason. So went to him, and he discussed kind of what was going on, talked about subluxation and the issues I had in my lower back. Basically my pelvis was like that, so nerves on the left side there and my left leg obviously weren't functioning as they should. And of course with the meds I was on the pain pills and Norcos and muscle relaxers, so digestive system was all jacked up, constipation, diarrhea. I was sick a lot during those few weeks after that injury. So that, obviously the drugs have something to do with that, but also the nerves into that area just completely destroyed my gut. So fast forwarding, Dr. Allen adjusted me, and I think it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. But afterwards, I had feeling again for the first time. So of course, we continued going back and continuing. It took some time. We had a few weeks of no nerve flow at all to that area. So, but he took care of me, saved my life literally, because, who knows where I'd be if we never went to the chiropractor. I'd still be on drugs or, just like a lifelong customer, maybe not even, have function in my leg. So where would I be then? And of course, I played rugby at Palmer. So that was, after college. So I did get to play football again, played into college, throughout college, and then got a scholarship opportunity to play some rugby too, and then learned a little bit more then. So Dr. Allen saved my life, and more importantly, chiropractic, the big idea saved my life.
That's such a good story. And I honestly feel like I could talk to you for a straight hour. I know that we're on a little bit of a time crunch, so I'm going to do an early close and say, hey, this month, the 13th and 14th, back at the Fountainhead, there's this amazing event called the Rugby Alumni Symposium. There's going to be 2 rugby games played, both a men's game and a women's game. There's going to be, I think, 7 speakers that are going to be there for continuing education, guys from Roberto Monaco all the way to Fred Schofield. There's going to be a huge banquet ceremony where awards are given out, and everybody's going to get dressed up and have a fun time and fellowship of that community. So Palmer Rugby is alive and thriving back at the Fountainhead the weekend of the 13th and 14th of this month. And you're not going to be there.
I'm not. I know. Shame on me. I was last year we went, my wife and I, our full family, we went and wanted to make it a yearly thing. But this year, it turns out my daughter is having her first musical, plays the same nights of the weekend. So we're gonna stay here with family. It's faith, family, friends. So we got to be here for the family. We do support rugby, and I'm gonna miss everybody there. Hopefully we can get them to change the dates of the plays next year. Hopefully I don't have to do this every year because we really, really need to get back there and help support the team and be there with the guys and the girls. So we know that everybody there, Matt Walker organizing everything. He's been a life savior for our organization, for our school, for the kids that now have opportunities to go to Palmer. Because without scholarships, I may not have had that opportunity to go to Palmer either. So it's the bloodline of our group and our school and keeping chiropractic moving forward through, athletic excellence.
Yeah, I love that too. I love the leadership aspect and how we've turned this into a program. We've gotten Palmer back to the force of being, something of value, not only as turning out great doctors, but bringing on a great program to bring a tie and to tie that whole school together to something bigger than chiropractic, which is a sport. And let's talk a little bit about giving back. I know that you do a really cool thing out in Bakersfield, giving back, but you give back to the program as well, right?
We do. Yep. We do. Every year we're going to give a little bit more, based on what we can do. So I know Matt's been a huge part of helping us be able to do that. And just having him mentor us in business and life and everything has really helped us being able to do that. So
that's cool. So I know you were in Idaho for a little bit. Let's talk about the rugby. Let's talk a little bit about the rugby program that you helped start up there.
Okay, so Snake River Valley Rugby is in Boise, Idaho. It's a great group. Part of what they wanted to do is their mission is to grow it, starting with the youth. Just like chiropractic starts with kids and moms. Rugby programs starting it younger gets them introduced to it younger, which helps grow them. When we're at Palmer, it helps get that interest there. So I got to be there for a few years at the very beginning of starting the youth program with the junior high age kids. So I wasn't able to stay there and watch it grow, but from what I see now, that it's grown quite a bit. They actually have a few leagues running in some of the high schools there that they do all season from football. So a lot of the football players are playing rugby as well. And they're kind of promoting it as a way to stay in shape for football and get the skills down for that, which, as everybody knows, rugby is a lot tougher than football on your cardiovascular system. Just ask any of us football guys that go out there and try to play rugby right away. 80 minutes it's a long time. So it's been a really good program that they're doing. And then we did a little bit of that here in Bakersfield. I'm involved with youth rugby here. I'm not coaching this year because I'm helping out with my son's baseball this year, but we're still involved with the youth rugby here and helping that program grow. This is just I think this is our third or fourth year in Bakersfield doing it. So it was kind of new when I moved here and just started getting involved last year. But the growth that we've gone from year 1 to year 4 has been incredible. I think they're up to about 270 kids now that play, where the first year they were like 50. So the growth has been huge, and it's sky's the limit really for rugby. Once parents and kids know what it's really about.
Let's just keep promoting Palmer to them, right?
That's it. We got to keep chiropractic alive and well. And Palmer, the philosophy, just the programs and everything, and just being at the Fountainhead, there's just something different about it, and I know there's a lot of politics involved with everything, but, that's everywhere. So, just there's something in the brick and mortars at the Fountainhead. And we have the best rugby program there is, so might as well go there.
So let's talk a little bit. I know you do something really cool that you give back to your community more directly than just your money. You give back to I know it's a program you do at the prison.
Yeah, so San Quentin Federal Prison. It's up in the Bay Area. Every year they do a health fair, and I'm in a group with another set of group of docs that go and provide chiropractic care for the prisoners, and it's awesome. It's very humbling when you're there, and intimidating the first couple times. The first year I was there was definitely intimidating, but it's just the respect and the love that the prisoners and that the men have for us, and just because they understand that spark of the adjustment. It's a lot of them, think BJ said, if he could adjust every man, woman, and child, there'd be nobody in the prisons. That might be a little sarcastic maybe, but I think that once they get that adjustment there, they just have such a profound understanding of what that big idea is, even without saying anything to them.
Yeah,
and I hope that makes sense, but it's hard to explain without seeing it.
It's impressive to hear about. And I think that that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about on your interview today, was that it's not just putting your hands on the people that come through your office. It's not just going back and having fellowship at a weekend of, friends and family at a rugby event. It's how you can help start a rugby program in a community. It's how you can go in and take care of prisoners and adjust them. It's how you can, become a family man and the first doctor in your family, and being somebody that all of your friends and colleagues see as the doctor. I mean, there's some really cool things that you've been able to do in such a short time. And you've been out of school, 10 years now?
It'll be 10 years in June. So we're coming up. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some memories that you have of the Rugby Symposium. And you said earlier it wasn't even called the Symposium. Back to the memories that you wanted to share.
My best memories were when back in the homecoming days when we'd have the alumni games, and this was when I was in school, and even right before school when I first moved there to kind of check it out. I think I moved there in August, and homecoming was in August, so it was kind of like first couple weeks involved with rugby at all, and being at Palmer. And just seeing the alumni come back, and how they take care of everybody. We'll never pay for anything as a student for sure. The alumni, they're just there to take care of you, and they have such, just like chiropractors, we have giving hearts, and our service is our first thing. That's what they do, is they just take care of everybody. And being a student there, just a whole new world. Just first time I moved out of Pennsylvania, it was very warm and welcoming. My first trip, this was not during the homecoming or symposium or anything, but my visiting trip, I went to meet with Ron O'Brien, and then he took me to a Mexican restaurant, I think up on 53rd and Kimberly maybe. And the group of guys I met there, I knew there's a few of them on this, but Dollar Bill, JJ Farrell, Rubble and Gurns, those are nicknames for some guys, and Poop, he was there, Kevin. That was my first welcoming to Palmer Rugby. And just these guys are students, and they loved us. And I had my best friend with me from home. We did the trip, and they're lifelong friends still, and he never even went to school there. So just, they're memories that you don't want to lose, but you can't lose, just because they're so powerful.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Yeah, that's cool. It's really cool. It's great to hear these stories. And I know you probably you have about 5 more minutes, so let's talk technique. What did you learn in school, and what are you doing now?
So what you learn in school is not what you do now, typically. But yeah, Gonstead, I love adjusting Gonstead and analyzing Gonstead type, which you do learn in school. But you always make it your own, and everybody's different. I'm not one that has one technique only. I don't do just upper cervical. I don't do just this. I gotta, my job is to find and analyze what's going on with the patient, and remember it's a person in front of me and not textbook. And give them the best care that I see fit for them. Sometimes it's using an instrument, sometimes it's Gonstead, sometimes it's doing tonal adjusting. So and we have a lot of pediatrics and pregnancy patients in our office, and I adjust them a lot different than I do the 45-year-old back pain guy. So you just got to see that patient, analyze them, and just take care of them, and remember they're a person. And whatever technique's going to work best, that's what you go with.
That's awesome, man. It's really cool to hear how somebody develops over a decade of practice.
You do.
I'm going to close out with one question for you. What does the chiropractic profession look like in 5 years with you in it?
It's better. It's growing. We're definitely growing more kids. I have a real passion for neurosensory issue kids, sensory disorders. So, once we can start getting that problem sorted out, and it's not that it's taking it away, but it's allowing these families and kids to function better, which the big thing with the kids that aren't functioning better, it's a huge stress on mom, especially mom, also dad, but especially mom. So in those, just to see the families crumble and fall apart that are under these circumstances, because it's a drain financially, spiritually, emotionally, completely drains the whole family. So giving them hope, that's the biggest thing. And that's one thing I learned from San Quentin, doing the prison stuff there. The prisoners gave us little bracelets that say hope dealer instead of drug dealer, right? It's kind of their joke, but that's really what chiropractic and what we as chiropractors and students and, future chiropractors do is we provide hope, and seeing that hope in mom's eyes for the first time there's nothing like it. So, the more we can do that and spread the message and just, that's what it is. It's a message, like you say all the time, Jim, it's the big idea, just spread the big idea. And that's giving people hope. And that's what we need, especially in this country. Just need hope.
Well, I'll share with you one of the coolest things that is a memory of mine from the Rugby Alumni Symposium, which will be coming up next week, 13th and 14th of April, was getting to meet you. And
thank you.
It was just such a fun experience because we had built somewhat of a relationship online and on social media. But then when you have a positive rapport with somebody and you actually see them in person, it amplifies the gratitude and it amplifies the admiration that you have for a certain character that you only know from like a digital presence.
Right. So, yeah.
I ask people this: what's the most innovative thing to happen in the past 10 years of chiropractic? And
what I say is
the best answer I've gotten. The best answer I've gotten is Facebook.
What's the best answer? Okay.
It's because now we can get to our audience that much quicker.
Way better. Yeah.
We can become that much more connected when it comes to the personalities that are going to push the profession forward.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to share our story today to hundreds and thousands of people. Whereas, 2 years ago, this wasn't possible. So with Facebook, it's the most important thing to happen to chiropractic in the past 10 years, in my opinion. And, in the next 5 years, I'll answer my own question is I see chiropractic becoming more consumer grade, where the people that have a concern, they think of chiropractic first.
Yeah,
and
right on.
The old conversation of that guy down the street doesn't know what they're doing and they didn't go to school or whatever. Any misconceptions will start to get cleaned up because we're going to become the liaison. The chiropractic profession will become the liaison for the moms and the kids. And once we start getting the moms and kids under care, then the conversation changes like that. And now we have a better branded degree of branding for the profession, but we can drive all that through social media. So they go hand in hand.
Better understood product that we have, because that's the big thing with the community in general is they don't really know what chiropractic is still, and that's because there's so many different, I guess, mindsets, techniques, and everything people do. That people selling a whole bunch of stuff, and the hardest thing I see is when patients come in, and this happens at least once a month, maybe even more, that they've gone to a chiropractor, it didn't help, ask them what they did and the kind of stuff they did, and nothing ever comes up about being adjusted, ever. They put these little things on me that kind of shock my, this, that. They put massage, or they do stuff with these metal things that leave bruising, that kind of stuff. I get that a lot. So we need to start cleaning that up. And this is, you being here doing what you're doing is huge for our profession, and not even just Palmer Rugby, which it's amazing for us and we love you for it, but just the profession in general, because this is how it's going to be life changing. So using that Facebook platform is huge, and we're glad you figured it out, because I couldn't.
I appreciate you telling me that stuff, man. But it's consistency, and when you have a heart that beats, and you have a conscience that breathes, and you have this innate intelligence inside of you, you have to leverage what you're best at. And
Exactly.
I think so many times that we pretend to be good at something, but we don't leverage it with our heart and soul.
Mm.
And I think that that's what
Yeah.
sets the chiropractor apart from other practitioners is chiropractors practice with their heart and soul. And it's the trying of life. And they get a chance to put out there the science, philosophy, and art. They get a chance to help with the subluxation, the physical, the chemical, the emotional. And the
Hmm.
chiropractor can then practice with heart and soul. But we have to take off the veil of confusion of what chiropractic is and produce what chiropractic really is, which is this big idea of evidence-based, results-based chiropractic. And, proving to people that there is a scientific edge to the chiropractic marketplace, proving to people that chiropractic is a philosophy and it's deep roots and it's 122 years old of philosophy. And by knowing what chiropractic is and what it isn't is going to help demystify what the future practitioner can produce and clean up some of these things that you're talking about.
100%. Couldn't say it better myself.
We have to go back to the adjustment.
Yeah. That's something I have on my vision board a couple of years, and every once in a while it shows up again, but is to lift the fog, because that's confusion. Once you have clarity of mind, it's that fog is lifting. So, and I know we get so busy and looking at 9,000 ways to do this or that, and how to get the next new patient or whatever. But you just got to get back to the basics. Keep it simple, stupid. But lift that fog and just get back to the clarity of what we do, which is adjust. Because right now there's other professions trying to take that from us too. So, we need to keep what we have and hold it to our sacred trust, like BJ would say.
Yeah, it's funny, Will, like my first film that we put out, the tagline was, "Are you adjusted? I am. I wouldn't have it any other way."
Yeah, right on.
So that's the slogan that chiropractic should probably start thinking about more and more is, "Are you adjusted? I am. I wouldn't have it any other way."
That's it.
And,
keep it simple.
And I know you have some things going on that you have to jump off the interview, but I'm just going to say, hey, guys, April 13th, 14th, back at the Fountainhead. There's 7 dynamic speakers giving CEs. There's going to be a big party called the Banquet, the Banquet Symposium part of it, but there's going to be 2 rugby games played. Really cool thing about Dr. Will, he was able to get some scholarship money by going to Palmer. They offer 20 full scholarships to men's team and 10 to women's team. That's unprecedented in the higher education world when it comes to becoming a doctor and having some of your degree paid for. That's amazing stuff right there. So I'm also going to put links in here if anybody does want to jump on board and get out there to the Fountainhead the 13th to 14th. And I just want to say thank you to Palmer Rugby for sponsoring this episode of the Chiro Hustle afternoon stream. And Dr. Will, thanks for being my guest today.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Much love to all of you.
Thanks, man. And
somebody's going to get to the symposium for me. Cover me up there.
And I always tell people you're just one story away. Keep hustling. See you, Doc.
See you, brother. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.